Hi, my name is Maxwell. I'm going to be presenting on the plot of July 20th, 1944, codenamed Operation Valkyrie, as I'll get into. It was an assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler. And this is the aftermath, this picture here. So to start out, it's important to recognize that Operation Valkyrie was taking place within a larger anti-Nazi resistance movement. A lot of the conspirators of Operation Valkyrie were comprised of civilians, upper class civilians. A lot of these civilians were people who resigned from their positions within the Nazi regime in the 1930s. Other conspirators were military officers. Again, the importance being that this really was the elites of German society trying to remove Hitler and the Nazi regime. The main proponents of the July 20th, 1944 plot were General Ludwig Beck, General Friedrich Ulbricht, and then this man in the top right corner, Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg. There were multiple different reasons as to why members of this resistance movement were trying to effectively assassinate Hitler, as the July 20th plot was not the only assassination attempt. Many different reasons included uh, disagreement with the anti-Semitic policies, specifically towards Jewish people surrounding the Holocaust of the Nazi regime. Others disliked Hitler's war policies for World War II and commenting that he is leading them to a suicidal war on two fronts. And then there were a lot of people who just wanted to be done with World War II and make peace with the Allied powers, and they knew that that couldn't be achieved with Hitler. So, some preparations that went into the plot itself. So, Stauffenberg joins the plot in 1943. Before that, he was deployed in Africa, and he was engaged in frontline combat over there. And he saw significant battle wounds, including missing two of his fingers on one of his hands. So he joins in 1943, and he agrees to carry out the actual bidding of Operation Valkyrie. He agrees to be the one that plants the bomb next to Hitler. However, he wants to make sure that the government that Operation Valkyrie plans on replacing the Nazis with is something that he agrees with. And so May 15th, 1944, members of Operation Valkyrie met and completely disagreed with each other on the type of government post Nazism, because there were so many different people with different beliefs. There were nationalists, there were conservatives, all sorts of different people who thought that the country should be run in different ways. Stauffenberg himself believed that he should be given the ultimate decision on the type of government that will be established, since he believed himself to be in the most imminent danger, as he was the one planting the bomb in the room. This was discredited very quickly, though, because others made the argument that they too were putting their lives in danger to kill Hitler. Um, so the next question that kind of arose after this, after Stauffenberg kind of decided to just go with the flow of everything, the next problem was how to get Stauffenberg into the Wolf's lair. So General Friedrich Fromm got Stauffenberg into the lair because he had several meetings with Hitler, and he wanted Hitler to make Stauffenberg his chief of staff. That way, if Stauffenberg was the chief of staff of General Fromm, then Stauffenberg would be able to go to meetings with him and Hitler. Stauffenberg actually met with Hitler twice before the assassination attempt, and he actually brought a bomb each time he met with Hitler. So Operation Valkyrie itself is a code name for the plot of July 20th, 1944. Operation Valkyrie was kind of a two-pronged attack at getting rid of Nazism in Germany. The first prong being that Hitler needed to be killed, and then once Hitler was killed, they could enact a military coup in Berlin and effectively get rid of Nazis. So Operation Valkyrie specifically occurred because of the actions of Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg. Without him being willing to go into the Wolf's Lair and detonate the bomb next to Hitler, then this plan wouldn't have worked at all. Operation Valkyrie was able to exist and able to get so much support behind it again because at the it was at the height of this widespread anti-Nazi resistance movement happening in Germany. The idea, obviously, is that Hitler was killed. If he was killed, then Stauffenberg and Lieutenant Werner von Haeften, who went with because Stauffenberg couldn't detonate the bomb with only 3 fingers, then they could return to Berlin and then begin the military coup. So the plot itself, this picture in the top right is the front of the Wolf's Lair or the Wolfschanze compound. July 20th, 1944, Stauffenberg and von Haeften entered the Wolfschanze compound located in East Prussia, common northeast Poland. The Wolf's Lair, as it was called, was a secret meeting compound for Hitler, and he spent most of his time towards the end of World War II in this compound. And this day, July 20th, there was another one of these secret meetings between Hitler and his closest military generals. At approximately 12:30-ish p.m., Stauffenberg went to a restroom with von Haeften, and Stauffenberg had 2 bombs placed inside of his briefcase. So they were in the bathroom, and he detonated the first bomb. But before he detonated the second bomb, a soldier came in and rushed them out of the bathroom to return to the meeting. So Stauffenberg gave the second bomb undetonated to von Haeften. The briefcase was then placed under the conference table next to where Hitler would be sitting, and then Stauffenberg and von Haeften quickly left to make a prearranged phone call, when in reality they were enacting phase 2 of Operation Valkyrie. They went to a nearby airfield and they went on a flight back to Berlin to try to stage their coup. While Stauffenberg was gone, however, Colonel Heinz Brandt had moved the briefcase away from where Hitler was sitting. So already this plan is starting to deteriorate because they are at a disadvantage now with firepower, and they are also at a disadvantage with blast radius. Around 12:45 p.m., the bomb exploded, destroying the conference room and killing 3 Nazi military officers. However, the target, Adolf Hitler, was fine. Later that night, even, he gave Benedetto Mussolini a tour of the Wolf's Lair where the bomb had exploded. That was that first picture in the top right here. So the plot continued. When Stauffenberg and von Haeften returned to Berlin, they went right to work on their military coup. Stauffenberg and his coup were arresting military leaders in Berlin as well as top officials for the Gestapo, which was the Nazi secret police. They were trying to make Field Marshal Erwin Rommel the new Reich president and trying to restructure the government back to what it was before Hitler. Another major problem in their plans was that they didn't cut the phone lines leading out of the Wolf's Lair. So this was a major wrench in their plans because Major Otto Remer went in to arrest Dr. Goebbels, who works for Adolf Hitler, and he interrupted a phone call between Dr. Goebbels and Adolf Hitler himself. And so Hitler was put on the phone with Major Otto Remer and said, "Do you recognize my voice?" And Major Otto Remer said, "Yes, I do." And from there, the conspirators kind of had that gut-wrenching feeling that their plan was bad. Later that night, just confirming this idea, the state radio program came on to describe the assassination attempt on Hitler. And then Hitler began speaking in his own voice, and it was apparent that Hitler had survived the plot. So the aftermath, Hitler brought down horrible retribution on Germans believed to be enemies, believed to be part of this anti-Nazi resistance movement as a result. On the night of July 20th, the same day as the plot, General Friedrich, along with a court martial, condemned the leaders of the Operation Valkyrie to death. And when they heard this, Beck killed himself, and the other leaders of Operation Valkyrie, including Stauffenberg, were executed by a makeshift firing squad. In total, the Gestapo arrested about 7,000 Germans, and they were either killed by these firing squads or sent to concentration camps in the months following the plot. The executions were actually believed to have been filmed for Hitler to watch at his leisure. So, Hitler had all of this opposition against him. He had opposition both in Germany and he had opposition abroad. He also was the victim of several assassination attempts. And the important thing to recognize here is that through all these opposition and assassination attempts, he was still appearing on state radio and all over the place regardless. People kept trying to take him down, but he kept prevailing. And so this idea was used as a propaganda symbol for Germany during World War II. Just this idea that if their leader never gives up and can't be taken down, then Germany can never give up and get taken down. And so Germany adopted this attitude that they will fight to the bitter end despite demands for Germany to exit. Germany also became a lot more brutal and radical with their policies towards World War II. However, for the conspirators, now long after the war, public memorials in Germany were erected to remember the fallen members of the resistance plot, as well as the street where Stauffenberg was executed got renamed Stauffenbergstraße. Thank you. This is my bibliography.